Timothy Leary's dead. Yes, he has been for a long time, but not when he was on TV in these clips. Now you see proof why I am a taper.
You're asking me to give advice to 18-year-olds out there? Well, if I understand 18-year-old, the last thing they're interested in is some adult giving them advice. My job is not to give advice. My job as a performing philosopher, which I've been performing for 40 years now, is not to give you packaged answers, but to do everything in my power to encourage you and to empower you to think for yourself and question authority. So that occasionally I can get trapped into answering questions because it's an easy habit, but basically I would refer any questions back to you. Common sense, by the way, is the only answer. Think for yourself. Don't believe anything till you've checked it out. Keep thinking for yourself. My motto on the drug situation, for example, is just say no, K-N-O-W. Just think for yourself and don't believe anything anyone tells you unless you check it out, including what I just told you.
I mean, if that's not
Number one radio stations are those that play only golden oldies. The 60s live. And so, too, do some of its icons. This week in our Whatever Happened To, we look at Dr. Timothy Leary, the man who told America, take a trip.
I urge all of you to drop out of American society. It's a madhouse.
In the 1960s, Timothy Leary became the symbol of a new generation and a spokesman for consciousness raising, peace and love, pot and psychedelic drugs.
LSD, used wisely, can produce the greatest ecstasy that man knows, the ecstasy of revelation, seeing that there's more.
But by 1970, he'd gone beyond revelation to revolution.
My plans are to work with the Black Panther Party for the overthrow of the American government.
And Richard Nixon was calling the ex-Harvard professor the most dangerous man alive. In 1970, Leary was imprisoned on drug charges and then escaped to Afghanistan, where federal agents tracked him down in 1973, brought him home, and then threw him into Folsom Prison for 10 years for possession of half an ounce of marijuana. So, whatever happened to Timothy Leary?
Timothy Leary's dead.
Thank you.
Not quite yet.
Here we go again.
Leary was paroled in 1976, and now at the age of 69, he's back talking to college kids once more. But the psychedelics of the 60s have become the computer wizardry of the 90s, a new kind of mind expansion.
Oh, I've been here before. I've been here before.
Here he's helping demonstrate artificial reality, a new computer technology where you can look at, travel through, and even manipulate objects inside the computer.
Eric, is this legal?
Yes, Timothy.
And Leary's designing his own software, an entire college course on a computer disk. And he's been out on the debate circuit wrestling with an old nemesis, G. Gordon Liddy, the first man who busted him for drugs. And while one old adage is still around...
Gordon, please listen to me. It's time for you to turn on, tune in, and drop out.
His advice to a new generation has changed.
Turn on, tune in, and take over. Thank you.
I'm reminded of that line from the Grateful Dead. What a long, strange trip it's been.
He seems so kind of adolescent. I have friends in California who think he's just terrific, but I wonder, do you know, does he still use drugs, and well, what's his state
he always pushed psychedelics more than the other. I think computers are now preoccupying him because some of that virtual reality is something that he can kind of get the same kicks out of, I think, without the drugs.
Do you think that the drugs affected his mind?
One sometimes thinks of that wonderful commercial on television that says, "This is your brain on drugs," and what might happen if you continued using them too long.
Thanks for watching Cleveland Live Music. It's awfully bright out here. I'd click on another one of my videos. Quit looking into the sun. Your mother told you not to do that. Please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel more, there's GoFundMe and Patreon information in the video descriptions. Ooh, ooh!